All right, so the first 20 or 30 minutes, I'll do like a kind of an overview of house hacking, some high-level underwriting, and then we'll say the last 20, 30 minutes for Q&A with Gary. And I will try to keep it in under an hour. So I know everyone's pretty busy and just want to have a lot of information and then call it a night. So background for myself, so I'm from LA. I have a few short-term rentals, single-family homes across Arizona, Texas, and Missouri. And then Gary, he has a house in LA and then two in Austin. So today we're going to underwrite his house in LA, kind of talk about house hacking and how to underwrite that, and then talk about why he chose to do to Airbnb it out versus doing a long-term rental. All right, so let me share my screen. And if you guys have any questions, just raise your hand or just jot down in the chat, and then I'll pause and come answer them. All right. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, cool. So here we have 5 different scenarios. The first one is short-term rental. It's a 3-bedroom, so if you rent all 3 beds. Second is if you kind of like do more of a house hack, so maybe he'll live there and then rent out the other 2 bedrooms. This one is long-term rental and renting all 3 bedrooms, but it's going to be where is it? This one is a 20% down loan versus 11%. And we'll talk about that more in a second. And then this last one is more of a traditional house hack where you're living in one room and then renting the other rooms out as long-term rentals. So your roommates are living there ideally for like a whole year or more than 6 months. So his purchase price was $915,000. This is around Culver City, so West LA. So the main thing to call out here is if you're going to do, this is the wrong numbers here. If you're going to do a short-term rental, you're going to have to furnish it. So the rehab cost for short-term rental, I think he put like 15,000 here. Long-term, maybe you got to fix some things here and there, but that's the main difference in terms of setup. For down payment, the reason why people like house hacking is because since it's going to be your primary residence, the lender and Fannie Mae, Fannie Mac, they're not as concerned or worried about you not paying your loan back. So you're lower risk. So some folks can get like a 5%, or in this case, Gary put 11% down for the down payment. But traditionally, you need to put like 20% down. And so the main difference here is when you go to how much money you need to like purchase the building. You can see how if you put 20% down, it's like you need like $200,000 in cash. Whereas you put like this 11% down plus all this rehab and closing costs, it's around 130. So depending on your income and whatnot, to put 200 grand down, that might take 2-3 years of saving to get there. Whereas this, maybe you can buy it in a year or so, right? So that's why people like house hacking this for this down payment ratio difference. Going down to income, so you can see right here, and we can dive deep in STR numbers another time, but we have videos from the last couple of webinars about ADR and occupancy. But essentially, when you're doing a short-term rental, you're getting a higher cash flow. So in this case, I think Gary projects if he rented all 3 bedrooms for Airbnb, he can gross around 85,000. If he lives in one room and rents the other 2 rooms out, that'd be about 55,000. And you can see on this side, if he rents all 3 rooms out, he can get about 4,500 a month versus just 2 bedrooms, he'll get about 3,000. So that's why, just from a gross revenue standpoint, STRs could bring a lot more money than long-term rentals. So any questions on that so far before I jump into more at the bottom details? Is it good? All right, cool. Um, one key thing about putting less down, so you can, if you recall up here, the two on the left and two on the right, uh, these scenarios would be 11% down. And if you put less than 20% down, you typically need to pay private mortgage insurance, so PMI for short. In Gary's case, I think it was like 0.2%. So he pays about, was it like 130 more a month for a PMI? The main difference, like I said up here, is if you put 20% down, you won't have PMI, but you need 70 grand extra to put down, right? Up here. Versus if you had PMI and put less down, you just gotta pay like $130 more a month until you can get rid of PMI in the future. But in this case, putting less down is beneficial if you don't have a lot of cash ready to buy it right now. Another thing in terms of expenses and utilities. So if you recall, the left two are short-term rental expenses. You're gonna have more expenses since you're like, paying all the utilities, right? Because your Airbnb guests are just gonna come, stay there, and then leave. So you're gonna have to pay some cleaning, pay all the water, electricity, the Wi-Fi. So utilities for short-term rentals are gonna be a lot higher, whereas the long-term rentals will be a little bit less. So in these two cases, this is where Gary's not living there, and you have someone else renting all 3 bedrooms. So he might only be paying for maybe landscaping and maybe some management software and whatnot. But if he house hacked, so that means he lives in 1 bedroom and rents the other 2 out, he'll probably need to pay a portion of the water, electricity, and the Wi-Fi here. And then you can, based on your type of roommates, you can build back to them or increase the rent a bit. That includes these utilities. So this kind of recap. So short-term rental, you're going to have higher gross income, but you're going to have higher expenses. So right here, the expenses about 27,000, 24,000. Whereas long-term rental, your rents might be a little bit lower. Oh, where is it? Might be a little bit lower up here. So maybe like 30 to 40% less than a short-term rental. But your expenses are also lower. So it's almost like 75% less expenses. All right, so here would be the cash flow based on all the numbers above. So you can see if he did short-term rental, 11% down, he could have a cash flow positive about $1,000 a month, which is pretty good for LA, assuming he gets these gross revenue numbers and there's not too many other utilities that are added here. The short-term rental house hack and the long-term rental house hack, you can see these are the only ones that are negative here. And you might wonder like, oh, why would I buy a property if it's gonna be negative, right? When you house hack and you actually live in one of the bedrooms, he's paying this amount just to live there. So if he wants to live there and say rent in LA is like, $1,500, he's only paying maybe 1,100, or in the long-term rental case, maybe 1,300 to break even, which is pretty good considering it's LA and you get a place to live, right? The other 2 cases here, that's assuming he's renting all 3 bedrooms out, and then the cash flow here is positive, but then he has no place to live. He would need to either have another apartment or live at home or whatnot, right? So you can see that by house hacking and putting a lower percent down, you can make the numbers look a bit better, maybe a positive in some cases or negative, but then you have a house that you're paying down, it's appreciating, and then you also have a place to stay. So even though it's negative here, you still have a room, and versus paying rent and just almost throwing money away each month. So I'll pause here. This is pretty much the overview I wanted to share today, because this is kind of just a general idea of house hacking. But any questions on this?
Hey, Chris, one question. So is this a single family home with 3 bedrooms? Is that what this is?
Correct.
Yeah, it's a townhome. Was a 3-bed, 2-bath.
It's a single family home, 3-bed, 2-bath.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think like the key thing to kind of point out here too, Ryan, is Gary bought this last year, so you can see the interest rate is only 3%.
I was gonna say, if you put it at 6 on that short-term rental, column B, what happens?
Yeah, if I put 6% for all of them. Let's just see. Then
break even, maybe.
yeah, you're pretty much negative on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much if you house hacked and live in one of the bedrooms right now, you'd be paying about $2,500 for your room. But then, renting the whole place out or during short term, you maybe could break even in a year. It depends on how well you manage the Airbnb.
Have prices dropped a lot in LA recently? Like, so you change the interest rate to 6, but the purchase price also, you think you can get a cheaper deal than what Gary paid last year?
Yeah, it's probably gonna go up a bit too, right, Gary? Because I think your building is worth like $1 million now, right?
Yeah, so it was worth $1 million, but okay, first off, I put a lot of work into it, and then before the whole tech world kind of just collapsed, it was doing good. And addressing Arthur's point, if you just go on Zillow right now, just look up LA houses, you'll see most of them just slash their prices. So like, while the interest rate is going up, the prices are being like depressed a little bit. So I wouldn't say like it fully captures like the interest rate that's going up, but you're not that much at you're not that much of it at a discount. Like it's not that bad. Sorry if that was a little bit unclear.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean,
yeah, and also I think average price hasn't dropped that much. I mean, depends on where you are, right? LA, I don't think it dropped that much, but there are some panic sellers there that are like giving 20-25% off. So that's the only reason to buy now. Is if you can get a crazy discount, you get lucky. Whereas in 2021, it was really hard to get lucky. Everybody was selling at market price.
There's blood in the water. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, I guess if you bought the same house, say it's $975, I'm not sure if it's more of a discount or not, because West LA is still pretty hot in my opinion. But with that higher purchase price, you can see house hacking, you're at $3,000 for that room, and then maybe in a year or two you can break even doing short-term rental. But yeah, definitely LA is a appreciation market. So if you can almost cash flow or almost break even, I think that's pretty good, assuming you live there or it's a good location. But yeah, I think Gary bought at a good time, and the rate's higher now and the price still kind of high. The numbers are pretty tough unless you do short-term rental. So in this case, the left one, you can maybe just pay like $600 a month, which is not too bad. Or I guess if you get top dollar on rent, you can just pay $800 a month in this case here.
Is that B column the entire place rented out, or is that each bedroom rented out?
Yeah, this is I think, Gary, you're doing the whole house is rented out one time, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think 85,000 gross. I think for your location, I think it's maybe doable. I think once you kind of optimize it, I think that's a lot easier to get. But probably the first like 5 to 6 months, as you're getting reviews and building that presence, then you might be a little bit under that for the first 6 months. Yeah, good question.
Question for Gary. I know you did work on the house. Did you ever pull out that equity, or you
I did
kept
not.
it in there?
I just kept it in there.
I see.
Yeah, I
When
guess.
it comes
Oh, go ahead.
when it comes to finding a house hack, do you guys look for like a larger size house with more bedrooms?
Chris, Chris, you want to take that or should I?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing to kind of look at. So let's look at this sheet over here. This is what Gary was kind of doing for his underwriting. So up here, this is retometer. For a 2-bedroom, I think he was getting rents around maybe 3,000, so about 1,500 per bedroom, and then 3 is about 4,500, so it's almost the same thing, 1,500 per bedroom. So I think it kind of depends on the purchase price. Like if by getting another bedroom, you're getting 1,500 per rent each time. But say a 3-bedroom house, say that's $1 million, and then a 4 bedrooms like 1.1 or 1.2 million, then the ratio is a bit better because you're paying a bit less per room versus a smaller house. So yeah, I would say across the board, usually the bigger house, or if you find a way to like convert a living room to a bedroom, then you can calculate the price per door or price per room. And I guess the lower price per room is more advantageous to buy a bigger house or convert something to make another bedroom.
Oh yeah, I have a house hacking underwriting spreadsheet. I'm happy to share. But it usually, in general, the more bedrooms there are, because after you get beyond 4 or 5 bedrooms, the prices don't shoot up as much. But every room you can get that much
Right.
rent. But the con is like you have like 4 roommates. That's the
Yeah.
con.
Yeah, and you have bedroom limits too, right? Or bathrooms.
Yeah, usually it's
Oh yeah, it's crucial
yeah.
to have a lot of bathrooms.
Yeah, I think the minimum is 3 bedrooms to 1 bathroom. I think once you go to 4 beds per bathroom, that's pretty tight. But yeah, I think so. When I did like house hacking or like kind of co-living, I have a 5-bed 2-bath, and that was like kind of, in my opinion, kind of borderline okay. But if I converted another room to a bedroom that had 6 bedrooms to 2 bathrooms, I think that's pretty tight. But see, everyone's different. Like maybe you have less bathrooms per bedroom and people are still okay with that, but they want a lower rent. So you gotta keep that in mind too. Because if you do house hacking and say you have a 5-bed 3-bath, but the master has their own bathroom, they can charge them a bit more rent. And then the other 4 bedrooms, they just have 2 beds per 1 bathroom, and there'll probably be like market rent for that. Yeah, so the numbers up here, this is kind of a quick overview of kind of a sanity check or just help underwrite. But yeah, I would look at how much you can get per room, determine like is this rent, like say it's 1,500 per room, is that because they get 2 bedrooms per bathroom, or is it or it's 1 bed to 1 bath ratio? Because that would determine the rent as well. And then the second thing is if you want to convert other rooms into bedrooms, figure out like the cost for that. So I'm not sure, Gary, if you did this, but I know someone else, I think putting up like a drywall, like I put up a wall, I think it was like 2,000 or 3,000 with a door. So they just converted their living room into a bedroom. I'm not sure. Did you do that, Gary, or not?
No, I put up a wall separating like the master bedroom from like the rest of the house. So, and I have another entrance. So I turned into pseudo 2 units. But the strategy you're talking about, like, dude, for LA, I've seen people do it. Cause like, yeah, you want to maximize that bedroom space to like rent out and bring in money.
All right, yeah, good question.
Yeah, 100%. So like, I've done that to 3 different properties, and I was gonna do that to this apartment building that I didn't ultimately close. I think that's the like converting spaces, adding a wall, and adding extra bedrooms, assuming your bathroom ratio allows it, is one of the best value plays. Especially like say you have a 3-bedroom, you can turn into a 4-bedroom. That gives you so much value because the value of the house, not even just rental wise, but just the value of a house, like 4-bedroom goes for a lot more than 3. And adding a wall is just like a bunch of frames, drywall, a couple $1,000. And when you add a new room, like most states have slightly different regulations. I've done this many times here in Arizona, but most states are like, for something to be called a room, you just need to have AC, some type of AC or heating, egress, aka window. You need to have a window in the room, and some type of closet. But the closet, you can just buy an IKEA closet. It's a rental, because building a closet is kind of expensive. But that's one of the best value add for a single family home.
Yeah, and I agree. Okay. So before we go into more Q&A, any questions on this example about the numbers, like, how you can house hack and what that means in terms of down payment, having PMI? Any questions on the spreadsheets?
Or so, wait, sorry, does anyone have any question?
One question, what do you guys think is like kind of or what have you seen for maximum occupancy rates for this type of home? Is 60 on the high end, or you think you can really get up to like 80?
For talking about single family or long term?
Yeah. For single family, this short-term rental, column B.
So for single family, if you go to the Chris, the snapshot on Data Rabu,
This one on the right.
yeah, that actually gave a pretty good occupancy rate with the revenue that you're expecting.
Okay.
And then from what I found is that for the last, actually, let me double check. I can give you exact numbers of like what has been my occupancy rate last 2 months.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's over here. This one, right? The first tab.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's one. So this is all my stuff that's been going on for the last couple months. So again, with the long-term lease, you have something stable, but with the short-term, it's going to be a little bit of a random case. But your case, like what you're trying to shoot for, is make sure that random case beats out your current costs.
Mhm.
So if you go to column K, those are the days booked. I was able to get 21 days for October, 10 days in November, and then 24 days. Actually, there's maybe 11 days November, but
Okay, I'll change it here.
24 days for December. The thing is that if you boost up, like again, this is me taking really awful photos and posting it on Airbnb, really poor text description.
Yeah, Gary.
Oh, you want to pull it up or?
Oh no, no. Wait, you can send me a list if you want. I was gonna pull it up on AirBNB real quick.
Okay, go for it.
Yeah, send me a link in the meantime though.
Okay, yeah.
It's at 377. Okay, 766 hotel. Yeah, so while Gary's getting his listing up, so let me pull up some AirDNA. So here's Gary's house. It's a townhome, 3-bed, 2-bath. If you rent out all 3 bedrooms, you have 6 guests, so 2 guests per bedroom. This number here is really high. And we can deep dive into AirDNA in the future, but when I look through this, I always try to find out which ones are outliers. So you can see this one, the revenue for the past year was only 30 grand, but they said the potential is 100 grand. So that's a little sus. There's probably something in the scraper that's throwing things off a little bit. And down here, this one, like they made 60 grand last year, but then their potential revenue is like 200 grand. That's also kind of sus. I think they probably just had it live for like the best season of last year, and that's why they charge 800 per night, which that's pretty crazy. I mean, it's a nice house, but I don't think they're actually getting that much money. So I'm gonna take a look real quick on this one, and then this one here is probably your best comp. So let's look at that one real quick too. And then Gary, you have your link in the chat. Oh, you
Yes,
did?
sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's look at it. Look at comps real quick. So this one is very nice, single family home versus, you know, Gary's condo, I mean townhome. So you can see how it's all modern, everything's super nice. So they're charging 900 per night. So I guess the ADR is correct. But see how the counter's all blocked out? Like, I don't know, maybe they're living there, maybe someone's living there for the whole year and it's all blocked out, but yeah, I can't tell if, you know, they're actually renting out on Airbnb or they just blocked it out because they have a long-term tenant there now. So numbers here are kind of skewed because I'm guessing Airbnb just thinks it's booked at 900 per night, which it might not be. So this one's not really a good comp. This one, oh shoot, it didn't show up. This one, oh, okay, I guess the link is broken. Okay, let's go to Gary's links.
Just go to Airbnb, type in Culver City, and see like what pops up around the area.
Okay, we can do that too. Okay, is this yours?
Yep, that cheerful one's mine.
Okay.
So I am very lazy. Put the bare minimum effort into.
Gary, I told you. We'll talk after this. I thought you. Okay, we'll help you out, man. Okay. But yeah, so you have a townhome. Okay, so you have the 3 beds here. Okay, this is a grass you did, right? The nice little patio outside. Okay, you want to talk about your property, Gary, or?
Yeah, so okay, this kind of goes back into the booking. I didn't really put much effort into the marketing, but if you're able to make your description, your title, your pictures stand out more, that's going to help directly get you more bookings. So this is things that you can do to self-optimize. The first other thing that you can do self-optimize. Originally, I was toggling around with the prices. But then I've learned of new software like Price Labs that just automated the pricing for me, and that helped get things booking a lot better. So this description, I'm not proud of. I think there's lots of room to improve, and I'm reading a book right now called Optimize Your BNB to help me get better with copyright description. But ultimately, so for Airbnb for LA, you got to show the license number at the very bottom. They won't let you post one. They won't let you have one unless you're approved by the city. For most, like getting approved by the city is really, for the most part, not painless. It's just a little bit time consuming. Then something that you want to do is write out the house rules so that there's no hidden surprises. Some general things that I've seen is like, again, no parties, no smoking, and then state the check-in and check-out time for everyone to follow. And then by saying by booking with me, you agree to all the above rules. That way you're kind of putting liability on the guest and that they acknowledged everything. If you've seen the other things to note about the property, the last point, which is the camera in front of property for insurance. If you have an Airbnb, while you are gone, you probably want eyes on the property. This is where cameras are invaluable. You pay a one-time fee, buy it, and then it's just getting them set up and ready, and you'll have constant surveillance of your property. My house is near, not in it. It's near particular. I don't know how to say it. There's sometimes like homeless that come around. So having like a camera to just record things, it's a nice safety measure. And if you're especially doing Airbnb from abroad, just having that camera is really helpful. Where else? So you can see like I've had 3 reviews, and I'm currently co-hosting with my dad, and it's a learning experience. Like you get better at it within each month, and that's what I'm trying to bet at. That I'm going to suffer at the beginning, but I'm going to get the hang of it, and I'm going to learn how to run an Airbnb properly, so that I can go and scale with other units. Sorry, I kind of just went on a tangent there.
No, that's good background. Yeah, I can help you out out with us later. But your calendar looks like December is booked up. So are these?
Yeah.
You booked the whole month, or?
December's almost all booked up except for that 30th.
Oh, what? That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I was able to turn a profit this month, and
Shouldn't this be like 29 days then?
yeah, that needs to be updated.
Okay.
There's one more person that booked in, and then the cool thing about Airbnb is that they are also sending me like a free photographer to take professional photos. So I'm very excited about that. I turned a day off for that, and once those new photos are up, it's all about optimizing the click-through rate. Well, not the click-through rate, but like the booking rate. After the person sees your page, it's like it's all in your hands, and it's how much effort you put into it and what you do to make people feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that's really good, because if you get 29 to 30 days, that's like at least 6.5, 7,000. So then you get your 80 gross. I guess you raise the rent, raise the price next year too, then that's pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Janitor needs to be fixed. I synced it to VRBO calendar, and there's somebody inquiring, which is why it's blocked off.
Yeah, if they inquire, it'll block it out unless you decline them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Okay. Yeah, so I guess one day your listing will be up here, and then we can kind of check how accurate Airbnb is. But yeah, so far it looks like you're doing well. Yeah, so I guess we'll open Q&A. So any questions about house hacking, Gary's thought process for doing this?
Yeah. Hey Gary, are you cleaning it yourself,
Yep.
or you're cleaning yourself?
Yeah. So it's extra money in my pocket. Like originally, if you put in okay, so when it's rented as a 3-bedroom or 2-bathroom, I just come and clean it myself. If I was renting it as a 2-bedroom, like it's not that much time to just go and do a full sweep.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, your numbers are really great. Your pictures are terrible, so just imagine how good it's gonna be.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, how much was the quotes for cleaning, Gary?
That's like a couple hundred.
Okay. Yeah, I would say like, if you want to clean the first few, then I guess go for it. But if you're getting booked out, it might be because your cleaning fee is so low. You might just want to hire someone and pass that along, or like what I do is I arbitrage a little bit. So like if my cleaners charge me like 150 or 180, that I charge a guest like 200. So then it covers like, the soaps or toiletries or whatever. But yeah, if you made this $200 and just pass it to your cleaner, then I think that's okay for the guests.
I'm totally up for that, but this kind of goes back. It's all a learning experience, like,
Right.
and the point of it is like it's gonna get better as you learn to better optimize.
All right, definitely. All right, good question. Anyone else?
Guys, fire away. Like anything.
I'm curious, Chris and Gary, as you guys are building your portfolio, is the plan just to buy like every 3 years or something, or in different parts of LA or elsewhere? Do you guys have a strategy and what you're trying to do as you build your portfolio?
Yeah, Gary, you want to take that one? I'll go after you.
Ideally, I want it to snowball. Right now, just trying to get everything cash flow positive, and then once that starts generating money, just keep on slowly expanding, whether that be single family home or recently looking into multifamily home, but just getting assets that actually bring money in, and that's the end goal, while also like appreciating a little bit. I hope that answers that question. As for how like the purchase rate, however much I can afford it, I do have my sights set on like a quote unquote vacation home that I do want to shoot for as a goal for myself for either the next year or the year after. and that's going to be property number 4.
Yeah, so for me, so I picked up a few single family homes for short-term rental this year with a partner. And I think unless the numbers can like be like net positive, like kind of see here, you know, buying something, and if the numbers aren't positive cash flow wise, then I'm not gonna do that for short-term rental. I think most of mine, let me see if I can find my details here. Yeah, so not sure. This means okay. Yeah, so I have 4. So one is just mine, and then a couple of them with other with my partner Tenzing. And so, you know, we kind of split the down payment, we kind of split the operations work. The goal is in the next year or two to maybe if we bought more, we would, you know, group it with another friend or two and hire a VA to kind of manage all of them. But I think for the amount of work and effort you need to do for short-term rentals, I think unless I know for sure it's on a cash flow, like for me, I want my cash and cash return to be at least like conservatively like 20%, which I think right now is very tough unless you like find a really good deal. You have a team to like do the rehab, and then you can furnish it really well. But then the door kind of closed a little bit because, you know, everybody and the grandma bought Airbnbs this past year. But you know, if a deal comes up, then I might look at it. But I think for next year, I probably focus on bigger stuff like commercial. So Arthur on a call, we'll probably have some webinars in the future about commercial real estate. I think that's something where it's not as competitive as like the, you know, the regular home buyer trying to buy a house for themselves, or some people, they might get desperate and just buy a single family home just to like try to do STR, and you're competing with those people still. Whereas commercial, we're trying to find off market, and you know, there's a different strategy for that acquisition. Yeah. Yeah. How about yourself, Ryan? You have anything in your portfolio yet, or?
Yeah, so I have 2 long-term rentals in Long Beach, 2 different condos, downtown Long Beach. One's a 1-bedroom studio, and the other's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with parking. So one's the one with the 2-bedroom, 2-bath, that's like a 15% cash on cash. Other one's just kind of like breaking even.
That's so pretty good. I mean, Long Beach is a good spot. Do you live down here too, or?
So I actually live in Stanton. We moved my wife moved like in 20, or actually last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So my idea is kind of like every 2-3 years to kind of look where the next purchase is. And I kind of want to dabble in this short-term rental because I've been seeing some numbers of the amount of gross income they can get. Seems pretty good. So I just need to look where.
Yeah. I would say if you end up having like bad tenants for your Long Beach properties, I think you can short-term those pretty well because it's close to the, you know, the weather's good. It's close to like a lot of spots down there. But I guess in Stanton, I don't know, there's probably some kind of vacation market nearby that you can kind of look into. Yeah. And diversify that way. So, okay. All right. So we're at 7:41. If there's no other questions, you know, we can end the call early. I don't want to take anyone's time if it's not needed. So any last questions or comments for today? Mauricio asked for the recording. Yeah, I'll it should be on the Facebook group. If not, then I'll upload it later too.
Hey, Chris, I have a question. This is Connie. Have you guys considered midterm rental and also like corporate housing on these properties?
Yeah, I would say MTR would be kind of a middle ground between these two. It depends on, I guess, how you want to operate it and location. So in Gary's case, I think he could probably do it because this is a 3-bed. I think some companies or, you know, travelers, they might want to find something that's a 3-bed. But I think it does work a bit better if it's a 1 or 2 bed. Usually people want to just travel there for like a month or two and then leave. I think the big like travel nursing game, I think most nurses, they want a 1 or 2 bedroom, so they might have one friend, so they get a 2 bed. But once you get the 3 beds and up, I think it's a little bit tougher. But yeah, I think the market is pretty good. This depends on your strategy to make sure you're booked all the time. So in my case, the one I have in Arizona, my plan is to short-term rental it during the springtime, but I think once it comes to summer, I think most people don't stay in Arizona during the summer, so I'll probably move that to midterm and just kind of see what happens renting out by month. Just because you might get higher nightly rates with short term, but in the summer it's so hot, most people only stay there for the weekends, and then I'm vacant during the weekdays. So I'll probably just try out both in the summer and see what happens.
Thank you.
Yeah, good question.
Chris, have you looked at like Hawaii at all for short-term rentals?
Yeah, I did.
do it?
Yeah, I think if I have like a good partner there, I would pull the trigger. Right now, like I have some friends kind of do it, and I want to see how things kind of go. But Hawaii, like the hotel lobbyists, like they can just shut you down quick because they want them to stay at the hotel and not someone's Airbnb. So that's one big risk I see for Hawaii. And then you can't do short-term rentals, then you just gotta do a midterm, which I guess the numbers work okay there too, then I would do it too. But also I'm kind of afraid of like, you see all those reports about like native Hawaiians not liking, tourists, or don't liking, like people taking their land and whatnot. So I do wonder if you're too small, like you just have one property, if it's hard to find a cleaner or a handyman because they rather work for like their friends and family, not some investor. So far my friends that have Airbnbs in Hawaii, it seems like it's going okay so far, but yeah, I don't know, it's kind of a high risk, and numbers look okay when I looked at it a few months ago. All right, cool. Nothing else. Thanks everyone for joining. I'll record the video and upload it tonight, and then yeah, any questions, always drop them in the chat, reach out to me, Arthur, Gary, whenever. And yeah, have a good night.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, everyone.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.